Hi, everybody. Just when you think you've seen everything in a trial, something strange happens that you've never seen before, and your jaw is hitting the floor. I'm going to say this one didn't disappoint. This is the murder case, the Rose Petal Murders. So after this little clip, I'm going to tell you all about it. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. If you are new to the channel, please give this a thumbs up and consider subscribing. That would be my honor to have you as a subscriber. So this is such a strange case, you guys, and I'm going to have to tell you all about it because today opening statements were heard, and to say they were abbreviated would be an understatement. I'm going to give you the opening statements. Then I'm going to, because that's how easy they were. Then I will go back and tell you the entire story, what I expected you might hear in opening statements. Because a lot of times when I recap, I like to just tell you what the jury has heard. But I think you're going to need a little bit more context for this case. Unfortunately, the jury is not going to get that context. They're going to have to figure this out on their own. And the judge has said, no note-taking. Now, what are the other restrictions in this trial? He has put a 30-minute restriction on the media. So everything is in a time delay. You're not seeing it live. If you're watching it on Law and Crime, you are not seeing it live. Whatever you're seeing happened 30 minutes ago. There's a 30-minute time delay. And he has said to the press that they can go out and report. He's not really restricting them, which is good because I would hate to think I have to stick to a 30-minute time delay. So in any case, the opening statements have happened. 30 minutes have gone by. Let me tell you, here's what you would know as a juror, that Zachary Hughes is on trial for the murder of Christina Purcell. He has been charged with burglary, harassment, and murder in the first degree. Now, the judge, like I said, he's not allowing any note-taking. This jury was picked yesterday. Now, this case was set for trial back in January, and they went through jury selection, could not get enough jurors. They ran out of jurors, literally, and so the trial was reset for February. So now we have the jurors, and then after the jury was selected yesterday, the state, in this crazy hearing that lasted like hours, it felt like hours anyway, was asking the judge to limit or exclude any mention of the fact that the victim's fiance, Brad Post, is incarcerated. Now, they may know that he's incarcerated because he's going to be coming in, orange jumpsuit. But the state is asking that no one be allowed to ask him for what? What are your current pending charges, which is sexual exploitation of a minor? And we're going to get into that. I'm going to tell you all about that little twist in this story. So the judge heard argument on both sides. Usually you can bring out on cross-examination certain details about someone's criminal activity to reflect on their credibility. So the judge came back this morning. He deferred ruling after hearing yesterday, came back this morning and said he had ruled in favor of the state. None of this would come in. No, it's not coming in. But I'm going to tell you about it because it's crazy. So what were the opening statements? I'm going to go through it. Very weird. Okay. So, and this is what, in South Carolina, they picked the foreperson ahead of time. So the woman who's the foreperson already knows she's the foreperson. So she's in charge of passing notes to the judge and things like that. And providing eggs. I'm sorry. This is in South Carolina where we heard the Alex Murdaugh case. And you remember the egg juror? She got excused, but she had to go back and get her eggs. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Anyway, so the Walt Wilkins is the prosecutor, he got up and he introduces everybody in the courtroom. Here's the court reporter. Here's what she does. Here's the clerk. Here's what she does. Here's the judge. He sits up high. So, because he's the umpire, he's the referee. He's going to call balls and strikes. And the most important person here, though, is you guys, because you are the triers of fact. Then he talked about this. We're here for the murder of Christina Purcell. The defendant, Zachary Hughes, is charged with harassment, burglary, and murder. And in order to find murder, you have to find that he had an angry heart. I have never heard of murder described like that. Angry heart. But okay, we're gonna go with that. It occurred on October 13th of 2021, where Christina Purcell was found dead. I don't even know if he told them this. She was found dead in her sister's home. She had been living with her sister and her young daughter. Then this prosecutor names the young daughter. Now, she's a minor. I don't know why we're naming this girl, because she is the victim. I'm going to go into this later on, of this sexual exploitation charge that's pending against mom's boyfriend, Bad Post. And there's so much more I want to say, I'll tell you, but we'll get there. I'm going to do this in order. So all he says is it occurred on this date in this home where she was living with her sister and her daughter. Now, her daughter at the time was 9 years old, but she had been in a heated custody battle with the daughter's father, John, since the little girl was 3 years. So 6 years they're going through this contentious custody battle. John takes her, leaves, and goes to Italy in October of 2020, takes the daughter with him. He's got sole custody of her, but she had visitation rights. So he broke a court order by taking her to Italy. So they have to go through, the mom has to go through all these, paperwork, according to Hague, to get the child back. She does eventually get the child back from Italy. He stays in Italy. When he comes back from Italy after the murder, he was in Italy during the murder. After he comes back, he is arrested for, breaking the child custody agreement. I don't even think he said that much. I'm telling you more than probably he said during the opening. He took her to Italy. So how is Zach Hughes involved? Well, he had a relationship with John, the ex, the father of her child. That's the opening statements, guys. Let me turn the page. He did mention that the harassment comes because John and Zach were sending photographs of the victim to neighbors in order to, I don't know, harass the victim. I don't understand that part of it. But anyway, he said, you're going to hear evidence that Zachary Hughes is a cold-blooded killer. And that was the opening statement. My cats are fighting. Then the defense gets up and defers their opening. Now, this is something that the defense can do. Sometimes it's rarely done. But in this case, I think that was a good decision. Let the jury hear the evidence first. See what's going to come in, what's not going to come in, and then make your argument before your case in chief. That it's allowable. So that was it. That was opening statements. So why are we here? Oh, let me tell you why we're here. So on October 13th of 2021, just around 11 a.m., Christina Purcell's fiance, Bradley Post, he's been calling her all morning. She is not answering the phone. So he goes over to her sister's house to check on her. When he does, he finds her body in the front living room. Here's what he found. Obviously he calls 911, they come out, and what they found was that she had been murdered, drug into the living room, staged, and then rose petals sprinkled all around her. She had been stabbed 31 times in the head and neck. The jury doesn't even know that much. I'm telling you for the first time. Yeah, stabbed 31 times to her arms, neck, and head. So a lot of defensive wounds there. The medical examiner is going to tell us that the cause of death was multiple sharp force injuries and the manner of death was homicide. That was an easy one. We're not going to, I don't even know if we need a medical examiner for that. So this victim, Christina Purcell, at the time worked as a veterinary technician, and just so loved by her peers. Just a beautiful woman, fun to be around. People enjoyed talking to her. She was very smart, very articulate woman, and beautiful woman. Then she had this young daughter, and I'm not going to name her because I don't think that's necessary. I don't know why the prosecutor did it, especially when we hear stuff that's coming after all of this. So the police arrive. They're processing the crime scene. They canvass the neighborhood for ring camera footage, and they find some. Across the street, ring camera footage of a person wearing a black hoodie, an N95 mask. This is during COVID. So, a regular face mask just goes, it's just that piece of cloth. The N95 is like sort of the upgrade of the mask. I don't know if you guys remember that. But anyway, wearing an N95 mask, entering the front door of this home about 10 o'clock that morning. Then in some other footage, they found that person leaving the residence on a bicycle. Black hoodie and N95 mask, leaving on a bicycle. So the investigation commences. They figure out that through camera footage that's set up all over town by the city, they monitor that and they find that Zach has a truck, or there's a truck with this bicycle in the back seat or in the back of the truck. So they go to the residence where this truck is. That's where Zach is living. The person that's living there says, yes, that's my bicycle. It was missing, but I see you found it. Anyway, this is how they were led to Zachary Hughes. But Zachary Hughes, to anybody's mind, doesn't even know this woman. Who's Zachary Hughes to this woman? We don't know. We're going to find out, though. So then, 6 days after the murder, on October 19th, Bradley Post, the fiance, is arrested. And you're thinking, okay, who's always the first suspect in a murder? The person that's having the relationship with the victim, Brad Post. That's not why he was arrested. They found evidence during their investigation of the murder in the sister's home of child pornography. This child pornography not only involved Brad Post and the daughter, but another young girl and the victim. She was participating in this pornography. I'm just going to give you a minute to think about that. Yeah. There are 2 lawsuits pending currently against Brad Post. One on behalf of the daughter for sexual exploitation, and the other on behalf of this other minor. And these pictures were fairly graphic from what I understand. They weren't just, photos of her primping and posing. Like, they were leg spread graphic type of photos. Yeah. All those collected at the murder scene. He's charged with sexual exploitation of a minor. She's dead. Can't charge her. So on November 4th, 2021, they do arrest Zachary Hughes. So I want to tell you a little bit about Zachary Hughes. Also things that the jury has not heard. He grew up in California. His family came to Virginia early on in his life. He has a younger brother. He also has 5 siblings that his parents adopted from Russia. So he was the oldest. And his father went and bought him a piano at a garage sale when he was very, very young. He's been playing that piano since he was 5 years old. He was so good at the piano that he won a competition, got offered scholarship to go to Juilliard. He graduated from Juilliard. His special interest was Beethoven. I want to let you hear his music for just a second. He's incredible. One of the things he did that was so incredible is he memorized all 31 of Beethoven's concertos and played all of them by memory, which is fairly incredible. Really, really incredible. Now, at the time he was living in South Carolina, he wasn't. How did he get to South Carolina? Let's figure that one out. So this church in South Carolina inherits this rare concert piano, very, very rare concert piano, and they need someone to play it at the inauguration of this piano. This piano is worth $250,000. It is a beautiful piano. It has 9 more keys than a regular piano. It's like deluxe, but they want somebody to play it, so they invite Zach to come down and play it. And he ends up living down there with a lawyer and a lawyer's family. And the lawyer who testified at his bond hearing was saying, he practiced all day long. To hear him tell it, this guy was, just the best thing since sliced bread, and, wouldn't hurt a fly. And he played at that inaugural event on that piano. And he was saying, many of you in this courtroom were there. So it was very interesting. So that's how he ends up in South Carolina. And he lived with that attorney and his family for 2 years. Now, in addition to the bicycle footage, in this case, we're going to hear DNA evidence. DNA evidence is circumstantial. This is what the state said. It's part of their opening. DNA is circumstantial. You can choose to believe it or not believe it. But, if someone's DNA is found at a scene, then you can believe that person was probably at the scene. But that's circumstantial evidence. So they have DNA evidence that Zachary Hughes was at that scene. His DNA was found under Christina Purcell's fingernails on autopsy. So then we enter the custody battle with John Mello. This is how we figure out the relationship between John and Zach. Actually, nobody ever figures out what the relationship was. John was married, or had been married several times during his life. So I don't know that he was gay, or maybe he was. I don't know. But at most, they were very good friends, him and John. So they were involved in this custody battle. Now, he's 63 years old at the time, John Mello. He's in Italy. So he didn't do the murder. But when they arrested Zach Hughes, they wanted to search his iPhone, because there were over 1,700 text messages on WhatsApp, which is encrypted on this iPhone that they wanted access to. Zach would not give them his passcode to get into the phone. The judge had to finally order, yes, you must give your passcode to get into this phone. Then I think he gave a fake passcode, and the state wanted him charged with that. And eventually they got into the phone. And were able to access some of the message. I don't know if they were ever able to figure out all of what was on his phone. They said in order to figure out all of that, what was on his phone without the passcode, it would probably take them 4 years, which would be way beyond his trial date. So we are going to hear some of this WhatsApp messaging that goes between him and John. On the day of the murder, there's a message from John that says, let me find it verbatim. How did your music research go? And Zach responds, great or fine, I'll tell you about it over the phone. That's the day of the murder. I want to hear what else is there too. The defense this morning mentioned that there were 16,000 pieces of evidence in this case. 16,000. Oh my God. So I did tell you in October, there's lots of back and forth between John and Christina over this child. He is constantly making these allegations against Christina Purcell that were always unfounded, unfortunately, unfounded. But he has custody of the child. So he thinks that, oh, I have custody, I can take her to Italy. Wrong. So I think it took her October, November. It took at least 6 months to get this child back from Italy. But she does get the child back from Italy. When he comes back after the murder, he is arrested for interference with the custody. So the occupation of John Mello, he was a music producer, which is probably how they got together. He got together with Zach Hughes through the music. I don't know if he's apparently Zach was doing odd jobs for this guy, is from what I understand. So much to unfold in this case. And I've just given you like the very high level view of this. So did Zach commit this murder for his friend John because he believed that Christina was sexually exploiting this young girl? That's the conclusion I'm going to come to. But right now, what do the jurors know? They know that there was a murder. That's it. That's all they know after the opening statements. So let me know what you think. I will be covering this, recapping this every evening for you. And don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you think I left stuff out, I probably did, because like I said, it's a very high level of this case. So I did not include every single nuance to this case. Well, I think I got the basics of it. Or at least what I thought they would let the jury know. Nope, they didn't tell the jury anything about Christina. They didn't tell the jury anything about except that there was a contentious relationship with her and John, a custody battle. They didn't really go into any details about that. They didn't go into any details of her relationship with this Bradley Post guy. The reason she was living with her sister, like none of this. They know nothing about this woman. They know nothing about Zach. They don't know that he's a concert pianist. Yeah. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you next episode. Bye, everybody.